spirittherapy.nyc. Welcome.
With screeching wheels to boot.
Well, we have decided to join together today. There's an over, I would say this, that there's this overall interest by, I say, everybody. And this has come up for me, and Nicole and I were just talking about it, that the division, what's the history or the foundation between the division of the Republicans and the Democratic parties? And so we're going to be talking about some history connected with that today. And also, today is November 11th, so we've got an 11/11 portal. And I know Nicole has more information on that she'd like to share.
Yeah, well, 11 is a master number of spirit, so is 22. So 11 is really about the ascended masters, the spiritual teachers that have walked our earth and are still around in spirit helping us. So it's a very clear, sort of angelic vibe coming to you. It's like clear light coming from spirit with 11/11.
You know what I get on that? I intuitively, because I know the Archangel Jophiel is very connected with Aquarius energy, which is the 11th house, the 11th sign of the zodiac. And he's all about organizing our thoughts, about getting, those pieces of our mind that feel like they're all in different places and kind of putting the puzzle together. It's very strategic type energy. So that's really cool.
Definitely. Like the one and the one, it's like pillars, right? And then the two is always more powerful than the one, like exponentially. So it is sort of, if you look at the time, those two dots in the middle are kind of where we're at right now with this very angelic, but we identify with it as well. Like it's our spirit holding the energy. And then the 2/2, that's a 4. So 4 is all about stability. And I think this 2020 has been about instability so that we can actually find stability differently, fundamentally. And I think that's why we're talking about this today, to sort of dive into, what's the problem here? Why can't we get along as human citizens of the earth, no matter what party we call ourselves? I mean, I know you and I don't identify with a party, so we're kind of just watching the game here.
I'm just remaining neutral. I mean, I do have some opinions, but, my end opinion was that no matter who becomes president, my opinion is their VP is going to take over, because we have some serious health concerns on both sides. First with Biden and then with Trump. So those are just facts. And those are looking at their astrology charts. So kind of want to go ahead and jump in, because we've got some major astrology stuff going on this week. When have we not this year? Really? I mean, and I'm going to share my screen just for a second to kind of identify some of these things for everybody watching. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I know visual for a lot of people is really helpful. And let's get my chart up here. And okay, currently, as we speak, I'm in Eustis, Florida. And Nicole, you're in Jim Thorpe, right?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Yeah. So I've got the chart set up for where I am. We're on the East Coast anyway, so we're on the same time zone. And currently we see the moon is void, of course. Well, It is void of course right now. It is about to change signs. You can see it's 29 minutes of Virgo and 29 degrees and 33 minutes. We also can see, and that's in Virgo, so we're about to change our emotional. Things might seem a little off right now until we change into the sign of Libra, which is going to happen very shortly. Let me just set this up for a minute so we can watch it on the time. On the chart change. I think this is the coolest thing. So we've got 30, you can watch the minutes change here as I move it. When we get to 59, we'll go 0 Libra. So everybody, void of course means that this is the best time to just chill, organize, you know, not a good time to start something new, but you know, just there we go. 11:40 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the moon moves into Libra. It's going to be starting in an opposition to Chiron, and Chiron's the wounded healer. And so there's a lot of connecting, a lot of coming together, but there's also division with the moon stepping into Libra, because Libra says, let's work it out. Let's relate to each other in peaceful ways. Let's figure out what's out of balance so that we can find that balance. And then, you know, and then we have the other thing that I really thought would be what we want to talk about today, because it's so strong and applying this week, throughout this week, is Venus in Libra. And Venus in Libra, Venus is relating. It's the feminine. It's our security. It's our values. It's how we love and show love to each other. The goddess of love, Venus. And it's in an applying square to Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. Whoa.
Wow.
So we are having some incredible growing pains and relating to each other. And we've got quite a bit of opposition here between Venus just separating from being opposite Mars and that moon coming into oppose Chiron. So I think that, you know, what I get is today is a great day to reach out to someone and just do something nice, especially, you know, the people in your inner circle, because we don't know what's going on in the world. We really need to be safe and be careful. But if there's somebody you know that comes into your mind, that's powerful. Give them a call, connect with them. But this is also about saying no to, hey, I'm not in that place of woundedness anymore. I'm in this place of knowing where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the key. That's the peace. That's the abundant peace. Do you want to, I can come back to the regular screen. Do you want to share maybe some, let me just get my, maybe if you want to share some of your, maybe pull some cards on this energy and make some recommendations of what might be helpful to people that Spirit's telling us?
Yeah, sure. Because let me just digest for a second that whole feeling of Libra being an air sign, and then 11 being November, where we are, and also the 11th house, which is Aquarius, which is where we're headed, which is my North Node, by the way. So I'm really interested in how we're going to do this community, this world community, because I need to figure it out for my life so that I can be for the community the best that I can be, right? So,
and by the way, everyone, Nicole and I are perfect to do, you know, to come together, because my Venus and my North Node sits right on her South Node, and her North Node sits on her South Node sits on my North Node. So we are coming together with a purpose for humanity. So,
yeah,
this is
really, yeah, thanks. I mean, really, it's a wonderful thing to know the astrology and also to be able to connect on levels beyond just surface friendships, right? You really see your purpose. So I'm going to go with the original. This is the first deck that I ever had in college. So it's been with me for quite some time, and it's the fundamental Rider-Waite that we all use as sort of a standard in America, at least. So
I got chills on those cards. There's some nice spirit with those.
Nice. Well, they've never been lost, and they've kept in good shape. And, you know, as a college student moving around, it's pretty impressive. So, okay, so let's see. First, let's pick a card for Venus by itself. And so this is our love and our beauty. Okay, the Five of Swords. So this is actually fighting. And this is thought. And this is, so this guy has 3 swords. And then these 2 guys are walking away with 2 fallen swords. So he's won, but no one's happy about it. It's like, what was this fight for? And so the swords is a very interesting suit because it never really satisfies itself. It's the way we think. And so being the 5, it's the middle of the thought process. So we have to get to 10, and where thought exhausts itself and has to start again with a new idea.
So do you think that is indicative of what's happening politically right now?
Yes, and I think this is how Venus feels. This is how the goddess in us feels, how the beauty in us feels. Well, somebody won, but nobody feels good. We don't know what we're doing.
We've got huge obstacle.
Yes, and I think, and just as a blanket, I think what we're going through, the rest of the world has symptoms and the same problems as us. So this is really a worldly Venus problem. So let's pick one more to see what Spirit says is the message to do about it.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 of Wands. Stand strong. Know who you are. Know where you've been so you know where you're going. The red is the passion of self. Wands is fire. So that's Mars and Aries, right? This is Mars going, okay, I've been rebirthed. I've had the 2 of Wands is really looking at what you have. And the 3 of Wands, he's now making plans as to where he's going. Mm-hmm. He's got the green that is symbolizing of being grounded and also being prosperous and nurtured. He's got the black and white here, which is oracle, like he's got other wisdom from other realms.
Banner, yeah.
Yeah, and he's brings his knowledge with him. And so this is making a decision about what action to take, but from a very smart place. It's a good card for the fire, because fire can get a little out of control, but this is a good one.
I get almost he's at a standstill, looking ahead, contemplating which direction, strategizing, which direction do I go? And it's interesting, he's holding one of the pillars and he's got 2 behind him. Mm-hmm. That's kind of interesting. So he's already walked through the gate.
Yes. And now he's surveying the land. And the fact that he has his back to us, I always feel means he knows where he's come from, because we can see it. He's showing it to us. So he's comfortable with his history. And now he's going to move forward into a place unknown that neither he nor us know what it's going to look like.
That's really cool. That is so cool. I was just going to share something about on that topic, foundationally, where we've come from.
Nice.
On the history of the, I mean, this has been bothering me since yesterday. I keep doing research on it, researching, and I'm sure it's bothering everybody because, you know, who wants to be divided? Who wants to be at odds? And it takes a lot to work through. You know, relationships are not the easiest thing. They take work. And we have Venus in Libra right now in square to Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn throughout this week. And then Saturday, we have a new moon in Scorpio, which is really great new theme of letting go of what no longer works, identifying that first, letting go of it, and transitioning into the future, taking steps forward. The other thing that we have happening late Saturday night, wait a minute, that's the new moon, but we have Mars going retrograde. Mars, the god of action, desire, war. We've been with Mars in Aries since the end of July. The retrograde started September 9th. That felt like the earth was moving. And now we can feel what's coming. Mars is already stationing, going to turn direct. So all that we've done, all the things that we've been looking at and wanting to learn for ourselves, wherever that Mars transit was so significant, now we're going to have, I would give it a couple days because that energy is so unstable around the retrograde, but you can feel it coming. It's like something is going to start moving ahead pretty soon here. And so, we can all feel it. So with that, Mars, with the moon stepping into Libra at 11, what was it, 11 something this morning?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to oppose Chiron. So Chiron is in Aries in the third house in that chart. And that is indicative of a wound of not speaking what's on our minds. So interesting with the 11-11, because Chiron is the wounded healer. It looks like a key, the symbol. And so it shows us where our wound is so that we can realize what we need to heal. And typically in a chart, when we see Chiron, that tells us the area where there's some pain. And there are ways, exactly the opposite side of what that pain is where the healing is. So I have some recommendations I'd like to share, and I will get into this history of the Democrat-Republican Party.
It really comes down to a problem, a failure to communicate, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it is. And I'm not
Houston,
sharing.
we have a problem, right?
Yes, Houston, we have a problem. Interference. I'm going to share my screen and share these exercises that I wrote that will help people with this Chiron in Aries today. It's actually, I think it's already moved to the third house. Oh, the second house. It's moved to the second house. So I've written one for each of them. I think that would probably be best to...
It's moved to the second house at this time.
Yes, but it's in Aries, so it's more of a first house energy. Because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and I can't find where I have it on my computer right now. I hate when this happens. So basically, though, that would be more a wound of security, feeling safe. And so the exact, you see it's right here in the second house.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a wound of security, and everybody from an emotional standpoint universally is concerned about the level of opposition in relationships of all types and relating to each other, countries, personally, families, all types. And the best thing that you can do with the opposition is pull together, or it doesn't always work that way, though. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hang on a second here. Stop sharing, and just want to, if it's all right with you, I want to talk about the history of the Democratic-Republican Party. The origin was between 1792 to 98. The Republican Party, first opposition political party in the United States, organized in 1792 as the Republican Party. Its members held power nationally between 1801 and 1825. It was the first antecedent of the present Democratic Party. So during the two administrations of President George Washington, which was 1789 through 1797, many former anti-federalists who had resisted adoption of the new federal constitution, 1787, began to unite in opposition to the fiscal program of Alexander Hamilton, Secretary of the Treasury. After Hamilton and other proponents of a strong central government and a loose interpretation of the Constitution formed the Federalist Party in 1791. Those who favored states' rights and a strict interpretation of the Constitution rallied under the leadership of Thomas Jefferson. And Thomas Jefferson is one of my favorites. He's, anyway, who had served as Washington's first Secretary of State. Jefferson's supporters, deeply influenced by the ideals of the French Revolution, 1789, first adopted the name Republican to emphasize their anti-monarchical views. The Republicans contended that the Federalists harbored aristocratic attitudes and that their policies placed too much power in the central government, intended to benefit the affluent at the expense of the common man. Although the Federalists soon branded Jefferson's followers Democratic-Republicans, attempting to link them with the excesses of the French Revolution, the Republicans officially adopted the derisive label in 1798. The Republican coalition supported France in the European War that broke out in 1792, while the Federalists supported Britain. And it says to see the French Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars. The Republicans' opposition to Britain unified the faction through the 1790s and inspired them to fight against the Federalists sponsored by Jay Treaty, 1794, and the Alien and Sedition Acts of 1798. And this is Rembrandt, Thomas Jefferson. It's actually an oil painting done in 1800. It's in the White House collection. Notwithstanding the party's anti-elitist foundations, the first three Democratic-Republican presidents, Jefferson, 1801 to 1809, James Madison, 1809 to 1817, and James Monroe, 1817 to 1825, were all wealthy, aristocratic Southern planters, though all three shared the same liberal political philosophy. Jefferson narrowly defeated the Federalist John Adams in the election of 1800. His victory demonstrated that power could be transferred peacefully between parties under the Constitution. Once in office, the Democratic Republicans attempted to scale back Federalist programs, but actually overturned few of the institutions they had criticized, e.g. the Bank of the United States was retained until its charter expired in 1811. Nevertheless, Jefferson made a genuine effort to make his administration appear more democratic and egalitarian. He walked to the Capitol for his inauguration rather than ride in a coach and six, and he sent his annual message to Congress by messenger rather than reading it personally. Federal excises were repealed, the national debt was retired, and the size of the armed forces was greatly reduced. However, the demands of foreign relations, such as the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, often forced Jefferson and his successors into a nationalistic stance, reminiscent of the Federalists. In the 20 years after 1808, the party existed less as a united political group than as a loose coalition of personal and sectional factions. The fissures in the party were fully exposed by the election of 1824, when the leaders of the two major factions, Andrew Jackson and John Quincy Adams, were both nominated for president. So this is just really interesting information on this. I'm almost not done, so everybody can be patient here because I think this is really helpful. It is for me. You too? Okay.
Yeah, it's where it's at, I think. Yeah,
yeah, right. Meanwhile, William H. Crawford was nominated by the party's Congressional Caucus, and Henry Clay, another Democratic Republican, was nominated by the Kentucky and Tennessee legislatures. Jackson carried the popular vote in a plurality in the Electoral College, but because no candidate received a majority of the electoral vote, the presidency was decided by the House of Representatives. Clay, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, finished fourth and was thus ineligible for consideration. He subsequently threw his support to Adams, who was elected president, and promptly appointed Clay Secretary of the State. Following the election, the Democratic Republicans split into two groups. The National Republicans, who became the nucleus of the Whig Party in the 1830s, were led by Adams and Clay, while the Democratic Republicans were organized by Martin Van Buren, the future 8th president, 1837 to 1841, and led by Jackson. The Democratic Republicans comprised diverse elements that emphasize local and humanitarian concerns, states' rights, agrarian interest, and democratic procedures. During Jackson's presidency, 1829 to 1837, they dropped the Republican label and called themselves simply Democrats or Jacksonian Democrats. The name Democrat Party was formally adopted in 1844. It says get exclusive access to content on this site where I got this from, which was Britannica. This article was most recently revised and updated by Jeff Wallenfeld, Manager, Geography and History. So this comes from Britannica articles. And there's a little bit more information here. The United States, the Federalist Administration, and the formation of parties. So Democratic Republican Society sprang up to express support for France, while Hamilton and his supporters, known as Federalists, backed Britain for economic reasons. Washington pronounced American neutrality in Europe, but to prevent a war with Britain, he sent Chief Justice John Jay to London to negotiate, calling themselves Federalists and Republicans. Later, Democratic Republicans, not the modern-day political parties with their mechanisms for raising money, selecting candidates, and waging election campaigns, were fully formed at this stage. Full-blooded political parties date from the 1830s and 40s, but an embryonic version of the party structure was congealing. Alexander Hamilton was a part of this, and it says establishment of political parties. So he challenged the Hamiltonians was the Republican Party, later Democratic Republican Party, created by James Madison, a member of the House of Representatives and Secretary of State Thomas Jefferson. In foreign affairs, the Federalists favored close ties with England, whereas the Republicans preferred to strengthen the old attachment to France.
That's really where it starts to get quite confusing, doesn't it? You're just like,
yeah.
You know, it seems like specific people start to move things in a direction. And it's like, I wonder what the citizens of that time really felt or thought, you know.
And it's, you know, what's so, for me, what I think and what I feel, it's so interesting how they just adopt whatever they want to adopt, even though at one point they stood for one thing and at one point they stood for something else. So Republicans really, would that say Britain? Republicans are connected with Britain and the Democrats with France. But I do know
The
that
Federalists went with Britain and the Republicans went with France.
oh,
Right?
okay, I got it opposite.
But the fact that they even switched the name, like they're actually Democrat, but they call themselves Republicans. You have the Federalists and then the Liberal, you know. Right?
Yeah, you know, I agree. I
No wonder
completely
we're all
agree.
confused. We don't even
Well,
know who we are.
you know, here's something coming up here, and I know the United States in its birth chart has Mars and Gemini in the seventh house, squaring Neptune in the ninth house of politics, of beliefs, of history, of foreign lands. And we've got Mars, the planet of war, of action, movement, desire in Gemini. So it was split. People were split. We were, and there was a combination of beliefs, but obviously Thomas Jefferson played a huge part. His time in the presidency, and I actually have a video that I'm going to be putting out very soon. It's called Decoding the Solar System, and there's actually one that my very dear friend Jeff Close did with me back on TV and on Thomas Jefferson, which is on my YouTube station if you want to take a look. But anyway, coming back, I'm kind of going off course here a little bit. Sorry, everyone. But the what's happening, I'm going to share my screen again to show a chart, okay? Because I think that maybe we can pull some cards on this too, maybe, because this is the confusion, the disillusionment, the delusions that we're all under, and that we cannot see the forest through the trees. We can't. Right now, we just can't. And so let me share my screen. I'm going to put the chart up, and so here's the chart of present time right now. And you see the North Node here. The North Node is in Gemini, and we're all meant to do our North Node. It is not an easy direction. It means that this is where the universe is saying, all the spirit around us is saying that this is the direction we're meant to stay focused on, and that is Gemini. Gathering information, data, technology, networking in the healthiest ways we can, because Gemini does rule over the lungs. And you see this square to Neptune? Neptune is our immune system. This is a strong square, and it squares the South Node, which is what we're working out, where our comfort level lies. We all have these beliefs that we were brought up with, that we take on, and we don't often know where we take them from unless we go exploring, which is Sagittarius. And so what's happening is here is you have Jeff never believed in putting in the aspects from the South Node and the opposition. So, but there is, you see there 20, North Node and South Node are always completely opposite. And so Neptune, I often call Neptune like Pandora's box. We've opened a can of worms here. We've opened up a plague. We've opened up uncertainty, confusion, disillusionment. At the bottom of this container, when you think about Pandora's box, what was there? Hope and faith. So we need to exercise these things very powerfully right now, and get information that we can, and listen to our bodies. Our bodies tell us what's true. If you feel chills when you hear something, you know that's truth, right?
Yeah.
So you want to pull some cards on this to help people with some spiritual guidance?
Yeah, because this North Node, for the people that don't know, that lasts through next year. I mean, we just got here with this North Node, right? Like a couple months ago, or
It's going to last till the end of next year. It's a year and a half. It started in May.
mm-hmm. And Jupiter, Neptune doesn't move. It's going to be in Pisces till 2024. So this is really happening. Everything you just said with our immune system, how we're communicating, and our vision for the future, like that's very prevalent from right now until the end of next year, right?
Let me show you how long this square and this opposition is going to last with Neptune. This is important for people because this is a universal chart, meaning that this is energy in the solar system that's influencing us all at this time. So I'm going to move ahead, watch my screen and the date up here, November 15th. We're going to go the full moon. It's getting strong. Do you see we're at 19 now? Neptune is awake at the end of November. I believe it's the 26th. And so we still have that invisible square to the south node here. When the north node and south node are constantly going retrograde direct. And I'm using Placidus house system for anybody who's watching. But the north node is going to come back to be exact at 18. Here we're 1 degree away at the end of November. So this is going to get stronger and stronger because this is heading toward us right now. So that means that influence of not being clear on where we're going and our dividedness and our past beliefs and how those aren't serving us anymore. We need to look forward. We need to talk. We need to network. We need to gather information. We need to gather data. Gemini is communication. It's what's going on in the news. Gemini is the news. And the news what we're seeing in the news is not truth. I watch Newsmax because I understand it's one of the best sources. But so let's go ahead here and see where this is actually the first eclipse right here, November 30th of the season. So, but let's stay on track here. So here's the solar eclipse. I'll be doing more shows on these, but look at Neptune. We're still at 19. Let's go forward again. I want to see when this becomes exact with Neptune. So we're into January of next year right now, and we see Neptune. Okay, so we're getting past it by the end of January. I want to just go back a little bit here and see. Here we go. Wait a minute. We need Neptune, we need the nodes to be back at 18. That's going to be exact. So it gets real strong around the end of November. We're already feeling it. We're already seeing it for quite some time. But let's just go day by day and look at this. So we're looking for the north node and the south node to be at 18 degrees, the same degrees as Neptune. And so if you keep watching here, and here, you'll see when this is going to happen exactly. We're getting closer. You see how it's going backwards by minutes, the nodes? 1904, 1905, 1908. Wait, we're exact. 1902, we just need a couple minutes here and we're going to get it exactly. Hold on. Exact time, Eastern Daytime. Neptune is at 19 degrees and 2 minutes in Pisces, so we're going to get that in a second here with just going minute by minute, or yeah, minute by minute. Hang in there, everybody. We're getting there. 1902. You know what? I'm going to make it 5 minutes, see if we can speed this up a little bit. As you can see, this is not a fast. Come on.
It's like watching a carousel go around. It's cool.
This is the world as the world turns.
Yes, right.
actually we're going, wait a second, what am I doing? I think I'm going, I need to go back here because we're going the wrong way. Sorry. And I'm going to go a little bit faster. I'm going to go 10 minutes. Because the first time it's at 2 degrees, 1902. You can actually see the sunrise every day with an astrology chart, which is so cool also. I gotta set this up for going maybe by hours because it's just taken too long. Where are we? I lost it. Oh, okay, we went back to 8, 7. Um, 6. Oh, it's right. it's in January. I can't seem to.
That's all right.
Yeah, I mean, it's in January, but you can see what's happening. And would you like to pull some cards and see what Spirit has to say about this?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to pull 3 cards for this idea of Neptune and the North and South node, because that's not only Neptune is not only confusion and illusion, but it's also dreams and really where like kind of all love comes from. I think like Neptune really goes the ocean of life, you know. So I want to pull 3.
It's also where we find resolve and dissolve, and it only happens through unconditional love but it's so stressed. It's so stressed.
I feel stressed. I haven't even turned over the cards yet, but they feel a little, oh wow, I knew there was a queen coming in here. Okay, interesting. Whoa, okay, lots of swords. Wow. Okay, let's just go one by one here. So just for the people, like I have to zone into the energy of it and then ask the cards what's going on. So they have a message that since I spoke of Neptune, it's sort of a message from Neptune. That's what I'm feeling. So first, Queen of Pentacles. So that's a woman in charge of her domain. And so, you know, of course you have to think of Kamala, right? But you also have to think of the fact that it is time, and this is Neptune's message. It's more important that it happens than who it is, because the woman needs to come forward. That's the only way that we're going to really get anywhere. And the woman within all of us. I mean, we have to have more of the nurture and kindness and loving. This has been the message on my spirit therapy for weeks now, of kindness, constantly with kindness. So the grounded woman, this is a grounded woman who has riches and abundance, but she's gotten there because she's earned it. She's climbed the mountain. That's in her past. Now she can sit in it and be lovingly in her earth, in her life. I mean, everything. She's outside, right? So it's getting along with the earth. So this is the dream Neptune wants us to have.
You know what? I want to just add a little thing to that. Something I heard this morning on that, because the feminine in all of us, men and women, our nurturing, caring, gentle side, our sensitive side. So I heard this morning. We can't go around discrediting who we are and what we want in our life. Your own truth is your own truth. So I mean, the feminine is creativity also, and it's nurturance, and she's holding a golden pentacle. So that's really nice. And she's at peace.
Yes. receiving, very peaceful. The earth signs are very peaceful and grounded, and the slowest, really, right? So they're really gonna be grounded and take their time. It's not about rushing forward too far too fast.
Right, right.
Here's the next one, the Two of Swords. So this is decisions. This is justice. This is seeing the unseen, because she is blindfolded. So, you know, so is the truth, our symbol of truth, right? It's not only what your eyes see, it's also what your intuition and your third eye sees. So this is also the Neptunian vibe, since we're going to be playing this game for a while with our nodes, right? Yes, this is going within. This is not, so swords is thought. So it starts with the ace. I have a good idea. And then it goes boom, right here into two ideas, two thoughts. Which one? Right. Again, here we are.
The North Node Gemini.
Right. And our democracy, right? Yeah, you've got the moon, right? I mean, it's really going, I hear you. And we're in this soup here, right?
I almost feel like she's protecting her heart. You know, she's got her hands like this with her sword.
Yes. It's, wait a minute, I need to think about this. I need to see what's what. But so don't bother me until then. I'll leave that at that.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty. And so is there you said you had 3 cards?
Yeah, one more here. So this came in upside down. This is the 6 of Swords. Ooh. This is going somewhere else, anywhere but here. But upside down means you can't escape it. You have to be able to, you have to let this be. And what this is are people's burdens here. This is the hardship and the heartache and the pain. And really, I always say, when these people get off this boat, they should leave all these swords right here and start anew. So here, this is what we're doing. And this also came in reverse. This is triumph in reverse. So it's not about who wins. I really feel this is the message. It's not about who wins. It's about, how do we triumph as people? How do we ride into victory, and really for a really good reason, not just because our team won.
You're right.
I mean, I really think that's the most important thing here. And Wands is, what are we going to do about it? It's celebrating life, celebrating our victory, celebrating that we are all together. We've made it, in a sense. So I'm just going to pick one more for the final boom.
The final boom.
Yeah. Charity. We need to take care of people. We need to take care of people. It might be a little bit of a, yeah, see, I mean, it's the cards aren't giving us an answer. They're like, this, it's all fault. Yeah.
It's about, what's the word? Compromise with a end result for peace and to care. You know, that Libra, I love Venus and Libra, but those 3, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, we haven't seen that in 2,000 years, and it's going to square. That means squares mean that we're learning a lot about how to relate. It's going to be a challenge. There's going to be blocks in the road. We need to take our time this next week. We need to go slow. We need to love, even if it's, you know, because there's some controlling factors here. Capricorn's a controller. Says, I want to be in control, and it's very political. It's very business oriented. Capricorn has a sort of guardedness about it. And so I know that when I feel Capricorn energy, typically it's hard to get through that wall, that circle of protection. And so that's what's changing. You know, Pluto's the only planet that completely is most powerful, because what it does is destroys things. Says this has to come to an end. This is not working. And what happens is kaplunk, you know, gaboom, done. And then it's the only planet though that can regenerate new life. So we're in that.
Absolutely. And the spirit therapy part of seeing when the cards flip like that, what did we see the most of? Swords. Swords are thoughts.
Oh,
So, and it's
interesting.
sharp and unemotional, usually. So, but yet it is the duality that we live in, right? I mean, they have to come together. So it really is about what we're thinking right now. Okay, so I'm getting manifestation and intention. What can we do as people in this place where it's hard and we're trying to get into a higher thinking? We can intention and manifestation. What is it that we want to focus on and bring about in our world? And the people, all the numbers of the populace are what affect things the most, really. What we think and believe is possible is only that far what will come to us. So if we can have a better and bigger belief of, you know what, why are we fighting with words at all? That's what starts the bigger, badder fights, right? There has to be, if you think someone's crazy, there can be no negotiation. There can be no communication because you've written them off or they've written you off. So forget the labels of anything we call people or ourselves, and let's really try to see how other people are coming from and how we're speaking our words. Is it all emotion or are we actually making a point?
That's where we need to take our time. That is the message of that Neptune square North Node and South Node. So we need to question and take our times with things that we cannot see clearly, things that have seemed to be rose colored. We've got it's like we're wearing as a universe the wrong prescription of glasses right now, you know? And so that's, I think, really, really good advice. And again, truth. We're South Node, Sag is truth. What's the truth? The truth is blocked. The news is blocked. Neptune says, come to me, sit with me, help me, let's resolve this. Let's pray.
Go
Let's
within.
believe. That's right. Let's think about what our dreams are, what our hopes are, what our inner visions are. And I just come back to this, that your own truth is your own truth. And it's okay. It's okay. We don't need to fight about that. We really don't need to fight about that. And would you like to add anything on that?
I was just going to pick, I also brought the goddess guidance, and yes. I thought, I feel the goddess so strongly lately in my own readings. I kept getting queens. So I thought the mother goddess, the Gaia goddess, what does Gaia want us to know right now for her own healing? Isis.
Oh,
past life.
That's exactly what, oh my gosh, so many people need to understand that.
The situation involves your past life memories. And that's what we were speaking of the history of, we need to know where we've come from, really, like not the history stuff that we were taught, the real stuff that's really available, at least more than ever, on the internet. So, and Isis is the mother goddess, that we've come from the mother. We started with the matriarchy, and now I believe, and many do, that we're going into the season of the daughter. This is about the daughter. We've gone through the patriarchy. We've gone through the son with Jesus, Muhammad, Gandhi, Buddha, and well, him too. But now we're going into what does Isis give birth to, right? In the daughter, in a sense. I know that's not the mythology. Maybe it is, but to all of us, that it's really a giving birth to all of us. You can't help but think of Egypt as well.
Yeah. You know what I was getting on that? That this Neptune square, because squares and oppositions are the most dynamic aspects in astrology and conjunctions, but I was getting with that card intuitively that the resolve for all of us will come by identifying those roots from our past, finding the truth, not staying in it, but gathering information that you look at both sides of it and then look forward. That's where the resolve is. And coolest thing is astrology. An astrology chart identifies the exact age, months, years of what your subconscious carried forward. And it's the most, I know there's other methods, past life regression, but it's been highly effective. And I think that, like you and I do, we encourage people not to sit in the past, look at it, understand it, and figure out what those patterns were. And this is our Neptune North Node square going on, is we're all trying to get clarity.
Yes. Way to bring it all together, Andrea. I mean, really, right. Trying to get clarity through where we've been. And that was that 3 of Wands that we got, where he's going, okay, I know this. I've walked through the doorway, but I just got here. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
But that past lives, no matter what, I've had both in astrology readings, understanding my past life.
Yeah.
Also past life regressions, and also through psychic readers. And there's always the same theme. Like, the lifetimes are different, the sex is different, the whatever circumstance, but you see in your own life, okay, it's responsibility. It's, who abandoned me. It's who was mean to me. And then how did I resolve that? How did I, you know who you are when you know where you've been.
Neptune is also, though, about the suffering. And when you see squares like we see, it's important for us to find peace with the suffering from the past. One of the coolest things that we can do with astrology is lay the birth chart over the world map, and you can see where these lifetimes played out. And you go to a place in the world for a visit and you get this deja vu, or, oh, I don't like it here, I want it out here. Your subconscious is telling you, your body is saying, I don't want to relive this experience. So it's so cool because you can also know where to live in the world moving forward. Where's my North Node going through? Where should I go there? That's really cool. But I think the Neptune, all of us right now, our suffering is coming up to be understood, and for us to gather data, figure out what that looks like and how we can go there.
Yep. Looked at and healed once and for all. And then we go forth. Absolutely. I think that's a wonderful message, because that's very personal and internal, and we can all do that by ourselves. We just need some quiet moments to say, meditation doesn't always have to be quiet. I like talking meditations to find out where I've been, and maybe meditate on what is my North Node, or who have I been, or where have I felt at home in the world, and why, and what history comes to my mind. And you go on a little journey with yourself, and you go, well, whatever I'm attracted to or is coming to mind right now and I'm feeling something about, that's it. You've nailed it. It's what it is for you.
There's another piece that I'm getting on this Neptune square North Node and South Node, is that it's very important, with all this stress between Neptune and the North Node and the South Node, to take our time out, to take our time to escape healthy ways. Because, there's an epidemic of drug addiction, not just to drugs, addictions in so many ways. And so, you know, what does that look like? I know for me, Saturday, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to Smyrna Dunes. I need to regroup. I'm energetically feeling that tiredness. So when you're feeling like you're suffering, this is go somewhere you can find a little balance between these two things. You know, we're going forward. The minds are so active right now with that Gemini energy. Oh my God, it's ruled by Mercury and it never stops moving. I know, I live it every day. And the best possible grounding though for Gemini energy is connecting with the light of Creator and connecting with the Earth Mother. So if you think of that duality in that way, that was something I learned in the very beginning. So thankful to learn that because it can divide in ways we don't want to divide. So,
yeah, and that's when we have to always bring it back in. I mean, whether you're a Gemini or not, right? I mean, you guys
that's right. We're
have
all
it,
being
but
affected.
yeah, we all, and now we're going to be in Gemini mind in the world really for the next year. So we're going to have to learn how to center ourselves through all these thoughts because it's only beginning. The conversation is just beginning. So we need to, you know, what do they say? When fishermen can't go fishing, you mend your nets, right? Just mend your nets and be ready when it's time to go.
Oh, I love it.
With a centered mind.
You know what I was just going to say? Be kind to your neighbors, be kind to your siblings. If they can't be kind to you, don't respond because that just makes it all, you know, that's my recommendation. Gemini is neighbors, Sagittarius is foreign lands, foreign cultures. So it's hard. And, but there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we have to come together as a community.
Yeah. So I think for today, this has been great.
Really great, Andrea.
Yeah. So, but Nicole's going to be coming on once a week, everyone, with me, and we're going to do what we can to help you all along this path that we're moving through of 2020, a year to remember. So everyone, Nicole, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Andrea. It's a pleasure.
And she's from spirittherapy.nyc. That's your website?
spirittherapy.nyc.
Okay. And I am Andrea Klim from turntothestars.com. And we thank you for joining us. Thank you for your support. And we will see you soon. And remember, turn to the stars and you'll find your answers there. And one other thing my daughter taught me, Latin, for take care, you're well. And it goes, cura ut valias, means take care, you be well. Mm-hmm. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you later.